You're watching Extras from the Extension on Eagle Community Television.
Well, it's April, and this is a really nice time of year to go out and plant some trees. And fortunately, we've had some good rains in parts of the area here, and so this is a good time of year to get out and plant trees. Lots of people are out shopping for trees at this time, and so I want to talk a little bit about what to look for when you go out to buy a tree. First of all, you need to know, maybe have an idea of what kind of tree you're looking for. If you're unsure of what types of trees will grow well in our area, there's several different resources from the Extension office that you can find. One is this drought tolerant plants list that we have. I put this together a few years ago with the help of some others in the area, master gardeners, local horticulturalists. This was during the worst years of the drought, so 2012 and 2013. These are plants that survived, essentially. And so if they're on this list, you can know that they're pretty tough plants. They survived that time, and we know over time that these have done well for our area. So this is just one example of a list that you can get that shows you some ideas on what trees to plant, and as well as shrubs and flowers and things like that. Now, if you're looking for a tree in the Hayes area, if you live within the city limits, the City of Hayes has a tree rebate program, and they have a list of preferred and accepted trees on the inside of this rebate program. And this will allow you to purchase a tree within Ellis County and then get a rebate if you live in the city limits on the purchase price of that tree, up to $50. So if you're in Hayes and you're looking to find a tree to plant this spring, look for this deal, because this is an excellent rebate program that the City of Hayes has. All of the local retailers have these brochures at their registers or at their stores, but also a lot of the trees at some of the sites where you can purchase the trees have been marked with tags that say tree rebate program. So if they have that tag, then they're eligible. Like I said, those trees are either preferred or accepted. I did help put that list together as well. And so those are trees also that are a lot similar to the ones that are on this drought tolerant list. They're usually very tough. They're hardy trees for our area, and you know that they'll perform well. Now, when you go to the nursery to look for a tree, there are several things that you need to pay attention to. One is just the overall form of the tree. You want to make sure and see that things are looking healthy. You know, I'm pretty critical when I go to buy a tree, which some shop owners may not like, but I think trees are a pretty expensive investment, and so I want to make sure that everything is looking good before I make that purchase. You know, they have these tree wraps on them a lot of times. Take that off. Look at the trunk of the tree. Make sure there's no damage, insect damage, mechanical damage. You know, sometimes these trees get moved around and get knocked with forklifts and things like that. Make sure there's nothing hidden behind that shield, because sometimes you can see that there is. Look at the branches. Are there a lot of broken branches? What about the form of the tree? Is it nice and are the branches all spaced out, or do you have two leaders, something that you're going to have to repair later on or maybe have potential problems with? You know, this one has a nice strong leader at the top. That's what you want to see in a shade tree. So depending on the variety of the tree, sometimes that can vary. Now, the other thing I always encourage people to look for is moist roots. So if you're looking at the tree in the nursery, make sure you kind of inspect that root system. Ideally, what you could do, if it's not too big and if it's possible, you could tip this over and actually knock the root ball out of the container and look at the roots. See how they look. If they're really, really root bound, which means that those roots are just girdling and circling and circling and circling, then you know that tree has sat in that container for quite a while, and you'll have to take a little extra effort to maybe shave the outside edge of those roots off, or to cut through those roots so you don't have continuing circling roots after you plant that tree. Last thing, you know, I talked about you need to have a tree that fits into your landscape. Please make sure you take that mature size into account. You know, if it has a tag on it, or if you know what kind of tree it is, it should tell you how big will that tree get. Oftentimes you see that mistake made where someone will buy a cute little, blue spruce or something, and they plant it right next to the house, not realizing that in 30 years that tree is going to be completely growing into the house and probably have to have some severe pruning done to it to make it manageable. And so You just want to make sure you take that mature size into account before you make your purchase. If you have questions about purchasing trees and shrubs, or if you're interested in learning more about how to correctly plant trees and shrubs, contact your local Extension office for more information. For Extras with Extension, I'm Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Extension Agent.
You're watching Extras from the Extension on Eagle Community Television.